I think I want to talk more about this Nipsey Hussle thing, and more or less the stigma of every time someone wants to do something positive in the hood, it backfires on them. I said this before, and like history is kind of like repeat itself and all that other stuff, but this is why a lot of people are afraid to like become leaders of their own community, because shit like this happens. Like this is like, to me, this is the like what a lot of people comparing this to Tupac or anybody that's doing something good. You should compare this to anybody that's doing something good to the community. I mean, Common is doing something good, and nobody really fucks with Common, but Common doesn't bring that energy either. I don't think. Then again, Nipsey never did either. I know he was a 60s Crip, but you know, that nigga was always, ever since he, like, you can go back to videos of him younger, he was always about investing in the hood. So that theory flies out the window. But I don't know. It's just that, like I said, it was some street shit, and I had like one thing about like doing this like a day later or something like that instead of the moment of, because at the moment of is always your first reaction, is your natural reaction, what you think of it. It's just sometimes it's not even right? It's just like what you think about is the first instinct. So like even like when I said this, it was like the government did it. And like part of it is just like I'm blaming the government, and this is, I have no really evidence that the government even did it or even government was fucking with it. And like you feel like you also realize it's some street shit, but you also realize the guy that was doing some street shit was a snitch, and he was an informant, and he was going to the government, and like it's a bunch of things just tangled into one, and it's not picked out. Obviously, the guy hasn't been caught yet. Like, they know who it is. And even the guys try to proclaim his innocence. Like, that's not me. And all that other stuff. So, you wonder. Well, I'm just waiting. I don't want to. Okay, I gotta give him due process just like Jesse Smollett. But, you know, the camera shot they gave it was just very shitty. But I know there's better cameras there. Especially, like, people in LA can tell you there's, like, cameras, like, that can catch all that shit. So, it's no reason, like, TMZ gets the shitty camera. Unless they're trying to hide something. So, that's what that government is. Because, also, like, I was watching Tariq Nasheed, and he was like, there was black people who was telling us to like do better, and black people, we need to do better and all that other stuff, and he was basically saying, why am I taking an L for one dusty Negro that had hate in his heart for another nigga trying to do good? And he made a good point, because I don't see white people taking an L for Dylan Roof. I don't see white people taking an L for the fucking terrorists in New Zealand. I know that has nothing to do with it. I don't even think white people took an L for the Oklahoma City bomb. Like, but, yeah. But at the same time, I look at them, and they never call them terrorists. The two kids at Columbine, they're not calling them terrorists. They try to pass the blame on, like, white people will not take an L for some of the shit that white people do. Especially Columbine. They try to blame that on video games. And people in the video game industry was like, no. Matter of fact, they didn't even play video games. They tried to do the same thing with the Virginia Tech shooter, because I think it was because he was Asian. But the guy, but you know, his roommate, he was like, guy didn't even play video games. He was just to himself. He was just an awkward kid that was always to himself. And So, like, when you think of it that way, and white people, like, really not taking... They're not even trying to take an L for slavery. Like, think about that. White people are not trying to take an L for slavery. I try not to make this about white people, but it just naturally comes around, don't it? So, what was the point of making this video? When we gonna do it? When we doing too much talking, not enough walking. I think that was the point. And like I think watching other people, it gets you. Watching other people's videos about Nipsey, especially like Daylight, like, cause he was always about y'all niggas, and this is going to the music industry. He was like, y'all niggas perpetuate this music of smoking, dope, doing lean, robbing, killing niggas, and all that other stuff. And that's what they play in the media and all that other stuff. Because, you know, a lot of people like this shit that brainwashes the kids and all that other stuff. And this is like, the first person they bring up, I think in this modern day era is Future. Because Future used to talk about popping lean, sipping lean, popping Xannies. I was just about to sound like an old head. Sipping lean, popping Xannies, smoking weed, and all that other stuff, where in actuality, he probably doesn't really do all that shit. You got most of these niggas talking about, you know, they'll shoot a nigga and they probably never shot a fucking soul. Now, there's probably niggas that really have shot shit, but, you know, I'm not talking about them. And then there's these industry plants that I've never heard of, and they're all about fucking doing drugs and shit. This is random, and this is talking about white people. The artist Kesha, I always thought she was an industry plant, but every time I look at her, she looked like a dirty party girl. She looked like that one girl that gets too drunk in the club, and she's always waking up next to a guy because she fucked some nigga. But that's neither here or there. I think the point with this video was like, God damn, I'm like 7 minutes already. When we gonna, like, is this, what we gonna do about Nipsey Hussle's killing? Or we're gonna, like, promote, we're not even doing a self-destruction. And I just remember, because, like, gun violence, it's not new, right? The 90s, when shit like this was happening, you know what we had? Self-destruction. You gotta have self-destruction. Even in the the early 2000s and all that, they had the What's Going On video with all these rappers and artists. They had blindfolds and all that other shit. And the hell of that. Where it's 2000? It's almost 2020. Where's our self-destruction? Like, this is a perfect time for self-destruction. Now, Tariq Nasheed, he is right. We shouldn't take. All black people shouldn't take a L for one dusty Negro that was a snitch, an informant, and all the other shit that, you know what I said. I shouldn't take an L for him. But at the same time, I'm like, we kind of have to, because he is one of our own. But the more I think about it, it's like, I've always said, there's niggas we need to kick the fuck out, even if they are black. If you're not good to the society, get them the fuck out of here. He would have been one of them. And that's basically what Nipsey did. It's like, bro, I can't be around you. You a snitch. You were an informant. You probably... Which is why most people think the government... It's still like the government killed him. Which is why, even though it was like labeled gang related, most people look at this as a government hit. And like, you got these conspiracy theories, including me. It's just like, you trying to map it all together and play detective. And I know people's like, oh, now y'all want to play detective. It's like everybody plays detective especially if it's something that interests you. You always want to play detective. Sometimes you could probably solve this shit better. I don't care what anybody say. When Bin Laden was on his rampage and all that other shit, they couldn't find Bin Laden. I said, get a bunch of angry, and this is my joke, a bunch of angry black women that's been cheated on by a nigga could have found him no time flat. But that was like, it was like, if it interests you, you're gonna play detective. So, of course, if the person that's playing detective is your opposition, you're going to get mad at him for playing detective. But if he's interested in it, that's what he's supposed to do. It's like, some things that just don't go together. It's like two is not making four right now when you look at that. So, but the point, what's funny? I got away from the point of the video. The point of the video is when we're going to stop doing all this talking, we're going to start doing this walking. All right. One thing I like about this generation, and even now, I'm seeing more entrepreneurships from black owners. That's an improvement because obviously they're not hiring us. And then we're sooner, in about 5 or 10 years, they're going to replace us with robots. And more people's going to be out the job. People see this coming. I've seen this coming. Elon Musk said this shit. It's like robots they're going to like replace your shit with robots. They're already doing it in some jobs. That's why Detroit fucking fell. Because what's the point of hiring niggas if if robots could do this shit? Everybody's like, Detroit's a failed city. It's like, no, when they all this shit was based on cars. That factory was really big on cars and all that other shit. So, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. But, that it was basically around that Ford motorcycle company. That's why Obama tried to save it. Most of that shit is being fixed by robots. You see the commercials, it's like these fucking robots with fucking welding shit. Like, they got robots welding. Like, I went into the Navy for welding. A robot's going to take my job for welding. Luckily, I could do other stuff like plumbing and pipe fitting and all that shit. But let's be real. A robot could take my job when it comes to welding. Like, it's going to be a non-need for humans. And we are going to make ourselves obsolete. I think that's what I'm getting at. They have cars that park themselves. So there's going to be cars that drive themselves. You don't even fucking need an Uber no more. Like, DoorDash. Like, even though I use DoorDash, the Uber Eats and all that stuff, I use this app too. I thought about this. It's like, even though like someone still has to drive it to your food, I don't have to go outside and go get food. I don't. When I first found out about DoorDash, I said, this is dangerous because I might never leave the house. And I was ordering food from DoorDash. And since it's already paid, I don't have to go through that, someone forgetting their pen and all that other stuff. All you got to do is just give me my food and go. So, again, I done veered off the fucking topic. When are we going to stop doing all this talking and walking? Now, we're doing all this walking. But I still see a lot of niggas talking. Like, we need to do something better for ourselves and all that other stuff. That's not, okay. I think now, because I did say it was like there's a lot of entrepreneurs. Now, we are doing the walking, but there's nobody protecting us from this walk. I think that was the point of this video. Because if Nipsey could get shot, there's a black woman that owned a black-owned grocery store in Oakland, and she just opened that. She could probably get hit too. Like, anybody could get touched. Like, all these people, like, going into art school, you realize, like, you can make a platform, even YouTube. Like, shit like this, you can make your own platform and all that other stuff, and niggas will respect it. So, I feel like the walking is already starting. Like, we're starting, we just haven't set a pace yet. But we are starting walking. And I think that's where Tariq Nasheed got it. Because it's just like, when you tell people, black people, like, we need to do better, we are doing better. Like, you're seeing more black businesses. Like, I go to some of these black YouTubers and they're promoting black businesses from other people and all that other stuff. Like, Paris Milan said, she said it herself, like, she could have got thousands of dollars for, like, promoting, not Fashion Over jeans, but something like Fashion Over, and she turned it down because they wanted her in a bikini or some lingerie shit. Like, most of these female celebrities do. They do Fashion Over and all that stuff and get paid good money. But she turned that down because of her dignity, and that's not what she does. And good for her. Because I know other people would have took it. Other people like Lovely T, even though she does gossip, and I'm subscribed to her and all the other stuff, she tries to be logical with her, and I love Lovely T. I love that woman. That woman's beautiful. But, again, okay, back on topic, because it's like 15 minutes in. I think we're doing the walking. And, like, even Tyreek, she sees it, you know, all these black businesses and all that stuff. We're doing the walking. So now the question is, who's going to protect us for the walking? Like, we need protection. Like, the way Nipsey carried himself and all that other stuff, first of all, he should have never been touched. He should have, that nigga, especially, like, if that nigga's a known snitch, he should have never been that close. He should have never got that close to Nipsey. They should have got him the fuck out of here and all that other shit. Like, just like Nipsey said, the whole hood is angry because of what one person did. We're taking care of that in-house. Even though, like, the feds are looking for him and all that other shit. That shit is really being taken care of in-house. I'm going to tell you, like, even though I'm not from there, I know some street justice is going to be laid down on that. Because shit like that don't happen. Especially when, like, Nipsey got killed in front of his own store, in front of his own neighborhood, where he grew up at, and he was starting a business to try to help the community. Like, he was doing all that. And you killed that guy? This is not even considering the city joint. Someone that was doing good for their own community, you kill. It's just like off of some hating shit. Like, y'all could have talked it out. Y'all could have shot the fade. Hell, you could have done something to redeem your name. And yet you kill one of the most important people in your community that's not a politician. So this is what I'm saying. Like, if we're going to be trying to rise from the totem pole from the bottom, we got to vet some of these niggas out. That's one. And two, we got to, how can I say this? Get people that don't belong the fuck out of here. Because not everybody's with you. Some people are against you. One thing the Boondocks told you, there's an Uncle Ruckus. In every hood, there's an Uncle Ruckus. There's someone that's just like, that white man is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, even though they knowingly fuck us over and all that other stuff. Like, this is going on too long. Because I usually make 20-minute videos. I see where we're going. And we have a long ways to go, but I see where we're going. But we're going to need some protection if we get in there. So, if we need some radicals, like the Black Panthers and all that other stuff, or, you know, people of our own protecting our own, and look at us like a village, and not like individuals, I think we can, like, at least get to get more people on the right path and all that other shit. And this is random. A lot of y'all, I know he's a wrestler to some of y'all. Listen to some of Bray Wyatt's promos. Because sometimes I feel like even though he was a wrestler and he was just like playing a character, there's some truth in a lot of what he was speaking. Go look at some of Bray Wyatt's promos. Especially the one he was talking about when people were sheep. That might interest y'all. So then, my name is Oskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.